Hey guys, Shot the Monkey here. So I want to bring you another video from Warplanes, and this time we're going to be covering the Tier 4 premium fighter for the United States of America, the Curtiss Model 81A-1. As you can quite clearly see from looking at the aircraft, this is most certainly part of the P-40 family. I believe one of the prototype aircraft or one of the pre-production aircraft for the P-40. I'm not sure which one of those two it is. In regards to what a Warplanes and how it's represented, you essentially got a stock Tier 5 P-40, but down at Tier 4, but with the disadvantage of you can't get as many guns on this aircraft as you can on the P-40, and in fact you're restricted to just 250 cals, as you can see here, mounted over the engine to either side of what I assume is an air intake, just there in the centre. The rest of the aircraft performs quite similarly to the P-40 you'd see in the tech tree at Tier 5. It's got very nice altitude performance, very respectable manoeuvrability, and with regards to the airspeed, this happens to be the fastest aircraft at Tier 4. It even beats the BF-109s that you'll see at Tier 4 as well in terms of speed, and in fact the only statistic that this aircraft has when stock that is beaten on by another Tier 4 aircraft is its maximum dive speed. The Model 81 can reach maximum dive speed of 750 km an hour, but the Caldron Renault 714 can reach a maximum dive speed of 800 km an hour. However, you are faster than every other aircraft when it comes to cruising speed at best altitude, and I think in terms of thrust and engine power, you're probably better off than every other aircraft as well, although I'm not 100% sure on that. As you can see with mine, I've changed the stats on mine around through equipment upgrades, which again we'll get into later. The first thing I'll cover is going to be in regards to, if you look in the upgrades tree, as you can see here, Model 81A-1 airframe, 220 hit points. You have one of the Allison engines in the front, which I believe this is the same engine that you find on the P-40 at stock. This is only compatible with the Model 81A-1, but I believe it's something similar to that you find at stock on the P-40. And then you have your two 12.7mm M250 caliber machine guns, which as mentioned are mounted just here. With regards to service, universal ammunition as always for this aircraft. I've gone for a manual engine restart and a fire extinguisher, mainly because, as I've said, this is the fastest aircraft at Tier 4, so your airspeed is your key feature for this aircraft. So keeping that engine in use and in best condition for as long as possible is, of course, the most optimal way to go about it. Fire extinguisher I've gone for mainly because the other option is to go for healing injured crew members, which again is sort of useful, but as you can see, I'm running equipment here which reduces my resistance to fire, so naturally not having a fire extinguisher with that kind of negative modifier on the aircraft wouldn't be ideal. Covering the equipment, I've got an improved uprated engine, which you can see there increases my acceleration without boost and increases my cruise speed, but has a negative impact on my resistance to fire. And then I've also gone for an improved polished skin, which ups my cruise speed by 6%, my acceleration while diving by 6%, reduces my manoeuvrability only slightly, but as you can see nicely one of the bonus characteristics sort of cancels out the loss of your manoeuvrability. But in total, this puts the maximum cruise speed for my current aircraft up to 382, which started at 350, and then I also get slightly better acceleration as well than I would with the normal aircraft. However, I have a slight loss in manoeuvrability, as you can see just mentioned down here, and then my survivability takes a slight hit, but only in regards to resistance to fire. I don't lose any hit points, or any resistance to damage in this case. So, how would you fly this aircraft if you want to do well with it? It's a bit of an interesting choice. The closest thing I can compare this to is like the Me-209 V4, the German Tier 5 premium, in that it is a very quick aircraft for its tier, but it suffers in having little to no real firepower. You have to sit behind enemy aircraft for what feels like a very long time with these guns. In fact, sometimes so long that they will actually overheat despite the long trigger time that you get with them. Which is a bit disappointing, of course, because in most cases you're used to aircraft that are quick like this and doing boom and zoom attacks to be able to take out targets quickly and effectively, so they don't have to waste the airspeed that they gain in a dive or using boost or however it might be. It's not too terrible, of course. There are other aircraft at Tier 4 that have to deal with the same armament setup. I believe the KF-43 is one of them that has the same issues, and I think the Brewster Buffalo as well starts with only 250 cals, although I'm not 100% sure on that. So you're not the only aircraft that is hampered by their gun performance, but at least with the KF-43 you don't lose anything by getting into a maneuvering engagement, because the KF-43 is made for that. The F2A again slightly better off than you are with regards to maneuvering engagements, and slightly worse off in airspeed as far as I recall. So this is a bit of a downer with regards to the Model 81A-1, is that you can't really put that airspeed to use all the time, because sometimes just doing nothing but boom and zoom attacks just doesn't give you long enough on target with the guns to cause any considerable damages, and you might not even get assists if they were shot down shortly afterwards, because you don't contribute enough damage upon their destruction. Other than that, it's been quite fun to fly. It's most definitely quite amusing and entertaining to be able to go after heavy fighters that you run into at tier 4 and tier 5, either just climbing straight up into them with a boost active because of how much airspeed you can gain, or if they dive away you can quite comfortably follow them, and then when they drop out speed, having come out of the dive they start to lose that speed, you'll retain quite a lot of momentum behind them, and you can usually stay with them and hunt them down. And that has been one of the things I've enjoyed most about this aircraft, is going after either bombers at high altitude or just bullying and harassing our heavy fighters, because while the heavy fighters usually have a rear gun, it's usually not effective enough to really deal with you before you take them down, and there's very little they can do about you being behind them, because even with a reduction in manoeuvrability you are still more agile than they are, and your airspeed being boosted up to this kind of level means that you can quite comfortably stay with them 9 times out of 10. So if you want my advice, if you are going to pick this aircraft up, or if you have already got this aircraft and you want my advice on how to fly it, wherever you can, focus down bombers and heavy fighters. Ideally do it with support, of course, I've said, because your gun armament isn't ideal, but usually a lone heavy fighter isn't too difficult to deal with. The bombers can be a pain, of course, if they've got very good defensive fire and very good coverage arcs with the gunners. But heavy fighters usually can fall victim to you quite easily. And then of course you're quite capable of hunting down other boom and zoom aircraft, be them 109s, etc, etc. So long as you're careful that 109s can outmaneuver you, especially with this setup. 109E series and 109, maybe not so much the 109B series, I know for the fact that 109E series can outmaneuver you if you're not careful with how you plan out your engagement. So just be mindful of that. And then of course aircraft along the Japanese tech tree and the British tech tree will outmaneuver you from the get-go, but you are naturally faster than they will be. So it's an interesting mixed bag. Certainly a fun aircraft. Definitely, at least for me, wins in the looks department. I really enjoy the appearance of the P40 series aircraft with the different engines in, regardless of the airframe or who they happen to serve. The Tomahawk 2B, reviewed it on a while ago, was no exception to that. The P40 is an aircraft that I really do like from the American tech tree, and the variants of it that you can get in this game, be it the Chinese Tomahawk 2B or the Russian P40 M105, or even the prototype model 81A-1. Great fun aircraft, very enjoyable. Anyway, that's enough talking on the aircraft for me. I'll let you guys get on with watching the clips from the battles that I've played in this thing that I've got lined up for you. And as always, I'll thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all next time.
The enemy is concentrating forces near the airfield. The military base is ours. Prepare Prepare to carry out a strike. Great job today. We'll be waiting for you back home. plants are under our control. Great job. Be advised, a line of thunderstorms is approaching. That's it. There's no way to break through for you now. You're on your own. I'm proud of you, pilots. Head back home.